How's it going, everyone? It's Justin from Stand and Bang, and for today's video I'll be making my prediction and breakdown of UFC Wichita, Derrick Lewis versus Junior Dos Santos. This is an awesome fight night card, and what a main event. Just like, that's an awesome main event. Can't wait for it tomorrow. First fight I'll be breaking down is Blagoy Ivanov versus Ben Rothwell. I know I butchered Ivanov's name, my bad. But let's start off with Ivanov. He has very good hands. He's fought really tough competition. Obviously, in his last fight, he fought Dos Santos and came up short, but he went 5 rounds with Dos Santos, and he stayed in there. And he's also fought Fedor Emelianenko in Combat Sambo, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but it seemed like it was Combat Sambo. They had like headgear and they're grappling, but they're allowed to strike and stuff. So it seemed like Combat Sambo. So obviously, he's faced some really good competition. He's also the former World Series of Fighting champion in the heavyweight division. So, former champion. He's a very good fighter. Not one to get one to look over. For this fight, he's gonna be fighting Ben Rothwell, and he's gonna want to let his hands go. Pretty much, he's not, because in his last fight with Junior Dos Santos, he was very hesitant and patient. And if he does that against Ben Rothwell, I believe Ben Rothwell will let his hands go and pick Ivanov apart, kind of like how Dos Santos did it. So Ivanov has to let his hands go. Can't just stand right in front of Ben Rothwell like how he did in his last fight against Dos Santos. He has very good ground and pound, so he might want to look for the takedown against Ben Rothwell. Now that's dangerous because Ben Rothwell has a very brutal choke. So you seen when he choked out like Matt Mitrione with it was like a modified like not bulldog choke, modified like front head choke. It was weird. He has brutal chokes, so he can take Ben Rothwell down and try to gas him out, but he needs to be aware of Ben Rothwell's chokes, because Ben Rothwell is really good on snapping those chokes down when somebody's trying to take him down. Now for Ben Rothwell, he's coming off of a little bit of a layoff. I believe it's 2-year layoff, so he might have ring rust. Ring rust might be like a factor in this. So I believe Ben Rothwell, he needs to come out. He needs to use his original, his herky jerky style. He always likes to do like a herky jerky, but kind of like movement to throw his opponents off. And I believe he needs to do that right off the bat. Don't let Ivanov get into his motion, and he needs to do that just so he could kind of shake the cobwebs off and see if he has any ring rust or not. Because when he does that herky jerky style, it looks funny kind of like to the fans on TV, but it really throws the fighters off. They don't really know what's coming, if it's like a takedown, if it's a freaking kick. They don't know where all his hands are going up and down. They don't know where the punch is going to be coming from. So utilize that. He's always had some really good movement. It's not necessary, I guess you could say good movement, it's just very odd. And I believe he could definitely trade hands with Ivanov. I believe he's going to have the power advantage with Ivanov, and even a speed advantage. Ben Rothwell doesn't look that quick, but he's pretty quick with the hands. And like I said, if Ivanov tries to go for the takedown, goes that route, Ben Rothwell does have the choke, so Ben has to look for the chokes. That's going to be his key to victory, is let the hands go, look for the chokes against Ivanov if he does go for the takedown. This is a hard fight to predict, just for the fact that Ivanov has been active and Ben Rothwell hasn't, and he's coming off a layoff. It's always hard to predict those types of fights when a fighter's coming off a layoff, but I'll make my prediction is Ben Rothwell is going to win via decision. I think his hands are going to be good enough to stand with Ivanov, and I think he's going to have some ring rust, but I think he'll be able to shake it off by the second round. So I got Ben Rothwell via decision. On to the next fight. This one I'm super excited for. Tim Means versus Nico Price. This is one that's a potential fight of the night. Don't miss out on this one. This one's an amazing fight. Let's start off with Tim Means. He's a UFC veteran. He's really big for the welterweight division too. Obviously, like he's, I believe, 6'2", so he uses his size really well. He's really well rounded as well. Oh, dude, if he gets taken down, which he seems to get taken down pretty easily, kind of like obviously when when he fought Cowboy Oliveira took him down at will in that fight constantly. But Tim Means has brutal elbows off his back. If you do take him down, just ask who did he do it to? Masvidal. When Masvidal was taking him down constantly, dude, Tim Means was just making him pay with brutal elbows, cutting him up from the bottom. So Tim Means got brutal elbows, brutal Muay Thai clinch. He loves the Muay Thai clinch, loves the knees, loves the elbows. And like I said, with the elbows off his back, he also has really very good rubber guard. So if he does get put on his back, which I highly doubt, because I feel like this fight's going to be an absolute brawl. But if he does get put on his back, he does have his rubber guard and submissions in his back pocket. Now, Tim Means' keys to victory is he's another one that's going to have a little bit of ring rust, not too much, because he fought pretty recently, I believe like 4 or 5 months ago, but he hasn't been too active besides that, so he might have a little bit of ring rust, but not too much. He needs to be aware of Nico's power. Nico has deceptive power. He loves to brawl. So Tim Means can't get cracked by Nico. He needs to be aware that Nico has the power to put his lights out, and don't get too crazy of a brawl against Nico. And like I said, utilize his amazing grappling advantage. He has Nico Price. No disrespect to Nico's ground game, but I believe Tim Means is just that like couple steps ahead of couple levels ahead of Nico Price when it comes to the grappling. So utilize his grappling. I believe he'll have a grappling advantage if it does go there, and I believe he'll definitely have an advantage in the clinch. Now for Nico Price, he's obviously an up-and-coming prospect. Dude is putting on amazing fights. This dude comes to put on a show. Anytime Nico Price is fighting, I'm watching. This young kid, well, he's not that young, but actually, hold on, let me check that. How old is Nico? Cause like he's young, like I believe in his like fight years, like in the UFC, but I believe he looks kind of old, right? I'm not sure. Let me see. We'll Google that real quick. He's 29 years old. Okay, yeah, he's still relatively young, but definitely young for the UFC. He's up and coming prospect that's just putting in work, finishing man, what's that guy's name that outclassed Mike Perry? Nico Price absolutely slept that guy. Man, I'm drawing a blank. The guy who always has like slick back hair, he does commentary. I know you guys know who I'm thinking about. You probably screaming the name like, dude, don't you know his name? Dang, I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry, guys, but where was I going with that? Oh yeah, he finished that guy very brutally, and he's a very getting up there as a UFC veteran. And like I said, he's young in the UFC years, but finishing people hella brutally. I kind of like rambled with that because I was over here googling stuff as well as I'll try to talk. But yeah, Nico Price, he's young in his UFC fight years, but he always comes to put on a show. He's coming off a knockout loss in his last fight against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, and that was an amazing fight. They just threw hands, they just threw leather, and nothing to hang your head on to lose against Abdul, because Abdul hits like an absolute truck, and he's an up and coming killer that's doing real work. So nothing to hang his head on. He just needs to get a good win to get his confidence back, get on the winning track. He has really good power. He has a really good right hand. Like I said, he needs to test the chin of Tim Means and let him know that he has power to hurt him. He has a very good head kick too. It's going to be hard to sneak that in against Tim Means though, because Tim Means is 6'2", and I believe Nico's like 6 foot. So it's going to be hard to land that head kick. But he does have a really good head kick. I believe a couple of head kick finishes as well. And he does have good BJJ, but like I said, I think Tim Means is going to have the advantage in that aspect. So he's going to want to might avoid that. But hey, we never know. He might like hurt Tim Means and then have him in a scramble and choke him out. You never know. MMA is crazy, but I believe just my going off what I see, I believe Tim Means is gonna have the BJJ and grappling advantage. So Nico Price is gonna want to stay away from that. Now, Nico Price's keys to victory is going to have to be make this a brawl, because Nico Price loves to brawl, and this is going to be a fight he's going to want to do it, not be technical, because if he beats technical with Tim Means is too lengthy, too technical. Tim Means is a very technical brawler fighter, where he doesn't really throw himself over too much. He doesn't throw wild, so if you try to do a technical point battle, 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose against Tim Means. So make it a brawl, and test the chin of Tim Means early. Let him know that you got power to hurt him. It's a very amazing fight. Could, like I said, potentially fight of the night. My final prediction, though, is going to be... it's hard to pick. I got Nico Price via second round TKO. It's hard to pick, but I believe the younger up and comer is gonna put work against Tim Means. It's gonna be a very good back and forth fight, though. Definitely look out for that one. Potential fight of the night. On to the next fight, which is another potential fight of the night. Alexi Dos Santos versus Curtis Millender. This is an awesome fight. Can't wait for this one. This is another one, like I said, could be potential fight of the night. Could be crazy all-out brawl. So I'll start off with Alexi Dos Santos. His nickname's Capoeira, and obviously because he has amazing Capoeira, dude. On the Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington card, I believe he got a brutal spinning heel kick knockout. It was brutal. He's super unpredictable. He even loves throwing some really good flying knees. He doesn't just stick to the kicks. He even likes brawling and putting his opponents against the cage. He doesn't brawl too much on the outside, but when he does get his opponents a little bit weathered and tired, he presses them against the cage and throws some very, very good combinations, and likes to sneak in some flying knees. It doesn't even look like you don't really see him loading up on his knees. He just kind of throws them out of nowhere. Very unpredictable. His keys of victory is going to have to be just don't let Curtis Millender get in his groove. Curtis Millender obviously picks up as he goes. Well, not obviously, because you might not know, but he picks up as he goes in the later rounds, as I'll say later in this video. So don't let Curtis Millender get in his groove. Right off the bat, start throwing unpredictable strikes. Start laying Millender. Don't let him get in his groove, and start just cracking him with some unpredictable stuff. Let him know that he's here to fight. And he can maybe catch Millender off guard with a submission. Dos Santos likes going for heel hooks and stuff when he catches his opponent's just lacking, trying to just get up or off the floor. So look for some heel hooks against Millender. They might be there. Millender has very lengthy, long legs, so can be there. Submissions there possibly. Now for Curtis Millender, he's an amazing up-and-coming prospect, finishing people left and right. He's another one of these fighters from the Contender Series. There's been amazing fighters coming from the Contender Series, and he's just another one of them. He has already beaten some very good veteran like Thiago Alves, and I believe in his first fight in the UFC. I could be wrong, but yeah, he finished Thiago Alves with a brutal knee. And before that, he dropped him with like an uppercut and did like a walk off. He thought he won the fight. He seems special. This Curtis Millender guy, he seems very special the way he's finishing these people. And to finish a veteran like Thiago Alves in your first fight, it's gonna open some eyes. Curtis has very amazing reach and size for his weight class. He uses every bit of it, dude. Like, some people are like, have very good reach, but they don't know how to use it. Like, freaking obvious, Stephen Struve. Just look at him. He has all of the reach and uses all of none of it. But unlike Curtis Millender, dude, Curtis uses all of his reach. He stays on the outside, and he will just pick you apart. Knees, uppercuts, straights, leg kicks. He is brutal. He will pick you apart from the outside. He has brutal head kicks too. He has brutal knees. Like I said, finished Alves with knees. And I believe in his last fight he fought Ooh, dang, I'm drawing a blank again. Should knowing this. I should be knowing this off tops. But in the last fight, I'll try to think of it. I'm looking up his name right now. In his last fight, he made it a brawl, and with the guy that that's known for brawling. And oh yeah, Sayer Badazara. This guy. Yep, he brawled with this guy, and this dude's known for just brawling, biting down on the mouthpiece, and having brutal power. And he threw hands and brawled with him for 3 rounds, and just dismantled him, picked him apart, brawled with him, and I struck the dude. Curtis Melander is something special. Some of Curtis's keys to victory is stay on the outside and be aware of the kicks of Dos Santos. And Dos Santos, like I said, is very unpredictable. And Curtis is also unpredictable, but Dos Santos is like super quick with the kicks, and he'll be throwing flying knees. Like they're both in this. They're both same in the aspect of knees, kind of. They both throw knees very out of nowhere, not loading up. But when it comes to kicks, Dos Santos is on another level. He'll throw spinning heel kicks and you won't even see it coming, and he'll smack you on the side of the head and you'll be out before you don't even know what happened. So he needs to be aware of the kicks from Dos Santos, because Dos Santos is gonna come out aggressive, I believe, and throw a lot of different looks at him. And I believe one of the big aspects of this fight for Curtis Melander is he needs to draw it into the later rounds. It seems like Melander, for his fights, the longer he goes, the later later in the rounds it goes, the more he picks up and the more he just has better accuracy and better moments. So I believe the longer this fight will go, it will favor Melander more. It's a hard fight to predict, because they both. I won't be surprised if either one of them wins. You know, they both have the tools to finish it. It's very hard fight to predict. Like I said, could be a potential fight tonight. But my prediction is going to be Curtis Melander. I think he's going to get it by 3rd round knockout. I think, like I said, where he picks up as more as he goes, I think that's how it's going to be, and he's just going to start landing more and more shots on Dos Santos. And there's something about Melander that he just seems so calm. He just has a calmness about him that, like, you don't see in too many fighters. And when you do see him in the fighters, like Fade or Connor, like, they have a certain calmness and they do amazing. And Melander has this type of calmness, chill with him that it seems like, you know, it makes me notice, like, oh, he seems very confident in there, calm and confident. So I got Curtis Melander via 3rd round knockout. And on to the main event of the evening, Derrick Lewis versus Junior Dos Santos. Man, this fight on paper should be amazing. I don't want to jinx it, because, like, we said that about Francis Ngannou and Derrick Lewis, and look how that one went up. But this should be absolutely amazing. 2 heaviest hitters in the division going toe to toe. It should be amazing. And it's 5 rounds. Oh, thank God. This should be awesome. Hardly see it going 5 rounds though. Let's start off with Derrick Lewis. Obviously, one of the heaviest hitters in the division. This man, all he needs is one shot, dude. He could be out in the whole fight, and he would just crack you one time, and you're out. Like, he just needs one, dude. And most of his fight styles, how they go too. Like, the last fight, or not his last fight, one before he fought DC, when he fought Volkov, dude, losing the whole fight, got rocked in the 1st and 2nd round, and in the 3rd round with like 15 seconds left, rocks Volkov, finishes him with 10 seconds to spare. He never count Derrick Lewis out of the fight. Marcin Tybura, he was getting out wrestled in the 3rd round with a couple minutes to spare, or a minute to spare, finishes Tybura. Derrick Lewis just needs that one shot, man. He has heart. He will not give up, even if he's getting smacked around for 3 rounds. So that's such a big advantage that he has, that not a lot of fighters have, is this heart. He has heart, and obviously God-given power. I need to stop saying obviously a lot. What is striking, even though he has brutal power, he's pretty basic. He just likes his 1-2s, big right hands, and that's about it. he's been mixing it up with his kicks recently, but I think in this fight he's not going to want to do that against Dos Santos due to the fact that I predict that Dos Santos is going to want to look for the takedown, and that's just going to leave openings for the takedown. Now he can work some leg kicks against Junior Dos Santos, but as for the high kicks that Derrick Lewis has been implementing in this game, I think he should not hold back on it in this fight. Some of Derrick Lewis' keys to victory is pressure Junior Dos Santos against the cage. We've seen in the past that when Junior Dos Santos has his worst moments and seems most uncomfortable is when he's pressured up against the cage. Just look at both Stipe fights. Look at even Tai Tuivasa had some success against Dos Santos when he was pushing him against the cage. So we've noticed that Dos Santos has his worst moments. Sorry guys, my nose is stuffed up. Worst moments and seems most uncomfortable when it gets the cage. So pressure against the cage unless his hands. It has to let his hands go. It has to be kind of like when he fought. Gabriel Gonzaga when it was kind of, I believe, in the first round too. It could be in the second round though, but it wasn't like how it usually goes where he's getting beat up for a few rounds. He let his hands go and pressured Gonzaga against the cage and got the knockout. I can see that happening in this fight. Pressure Dos Santos against the cage and let his hands fly. Now for Dos Santos, he's a veteran, man. He's been in the game for a while. He's been a champ. He's lost the belt. He's been there and done it. He's been through some brutal wars, 2 brutal fights with Cain Velasquez. Had that brutal 5-rounder with Stipe. He's been there. But lately he has had a pretty good run where he beat Ivanov by decision, and then he finished Tai Tuivasa, which was really surprising. I really thought Tuivasa was going to put him out of there. And he finished Tai Tuivasa, up and coming, young kid. Very good win for Dos Santos. For his perks, man, Dos Santos has that beautiful right overhand that he loves. Big right overhand. It comes sneaky too, because he'll be just pawing out a jab, or like a pawing out left hook, and then BAM! Right hook. Or he'll go like jab to the body, straight to the body, then BAM! Big right hook. So he has a beautiful overhand right, and he has beautiful body shots, dude. He works the body so much, and that's going to be a big key for him in this fight, because Derrick Lewis obviously has a big old belly and body, and that's going to be open. Work the gas tank of Derrick Lewis. And I think he's definitely going to have a speed advantage in the hands in this fight against Derrick Lewis. So let his hands go. Don't be too shy. Don't get pressured up against the cage like he usually, well, not usually, but like he does in some of his fights, because that's going to be very bad against somebody like Derrick Lewis. He needs to be confident with his hands, let his hands fly, and even work some takedowns against Derrick Lewis, because we see Derrick Lewis is always just, I don't want to disrespect Lewis, but just not a great ground game. Not that great at all. So even Dos Santos is not the best of wrestlers, but in this fight he will definitely have a grappling advantage. So mix the strikes up with with the grappling. Make Derrick Lewis think. Don't just play the game with Derrick Lewis and give him opportunities to land that big right hand, because all he needs is one, like I said. So those are his Dos Santos' keys to victory. He needs to not be pressured up against the cage. Don't be hesitant and get pushed up against the cage. He needs to mix his strikes up with the grappling, and when he's on the feet, work some very good body shots and gas Derrick Lewis out, and gas him out on the ground if he does take him down. Man, and also just be aware the whole time. He needs to be on point the whole time, because Derrick Lewis just needs one bomb. That's all he needs, so can't slack off. He needs to be on point the whole fight, all 5 rounds. Man, it's a hard fight to predict, because, like, obviously Junior Dos Santos is a way more technical fighter, has more tools, but dude, like, I don't know, Derrick Lewis just finds a way to win most of the time, except for, like, I guess DC. Derrick Lewis finds a way to win, dude, and I count him out a lot. Like, when when he was fighting Francis Ngannou, when he was gonna, I thought Ngannou was gonna destroy him, man. Like I count Lewis out a lot, so it's hard to pick him, go against him again, especially after seeing what he did against Volkov, dude. Like he's always in this fight. Hard to predict. I'm gonna make a bold prediction though. I'm gonna go with Derrick Lewis via third round knockout. I think he just has too much heart. I think he's going to be always looking for that right hand, and Junior Santos likes to play that game of throwing hands, and if you do that with Derrick, he might just end up knocked out, and I think that's what will happen. Derrick Lewis via third round knockout. That's my prediction, guys. Hope you enjoyed the fights this Saturday, tomorrow. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end, guys. Alright, later. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Have a good one. Later.
And here's the end of the fight. Let's see it again. Here we see it again.
The official decision.